Okay, so Brona, it's really an honor to have you as a guest. I'm very happy you accepted my invitation. As you probably got a hint of, I'm a huge fan of the series, as many of the people watching this will probably be. So, what I would like to go over with you today would be a little bit of the background and the backstage kind you have about how you got around being the jewelry designer for Game of Thrones and what that means basically in terms of like operating the whole, activity and coordinating with such a huge production.
Well, I wouldn't say we were the designers because HBO are coming to us with very specific things that they're wanting us to make. So we're manufacturing the pieces for them, and there's been a little bit of design input from us, but it is predominantly the costume designer, Michelle Clapton's designs that we are replicating for them. They're obviously a massive production team, so we have done a lot of key pieces for them, but they also have their own metal smithing departments that are actually making various pieces as well throughout for them. But we got into it right from the first series. So series 1, HBO started shooting it in Northern Ireland, and at that stage very few people had really heard of Game of Thrones. It was pilot series was running. One of my Northern Ireland's a very small place, but its creative industries are very strong. So one of my friends was working in the costume department there, and they had quite a few pieces that they had trouble with on set that were falling apart on them and things, and they wanted somebody who could manufacture high quality pieces that were going to stand the actual test of constant on and off costumes and things that had to be able to be robust enough to take that. The pieces that they had at that time were not. So my friend Donna Hughes, who will be the was wardrobe mistress the last series and wardrobe mistress again this coming series in series 7. She put up her hand and says, well, I know a couple who could make those pieces for you. So that's really how we got into it. My father was in the business still at the time. He retired a couple of years back now. But he initially went in and talked to Michelle about Joffrey. Well, it would actually have been Robert Baratheon's original crown and pieces, Littlefinger's mockingbird, Sansa's lion necklace. That sort of thing we made in series 1. There was quite a few pieces made in series 1 which then featured throughout all the series. And that's how we got into it. It wasn't until the end of series 3 that it suddenly kind of exploded into this phenomenon that it is now. So, yeah.
It's become a huge, absolutely huge production now. It's been growing steadily since it first launched. So I would like to go with you over a little bit of how it worked as far as the collaboration with Michelle Clapton went. So how much of her this and how much of your expertise on the other hand, and how did you get to that middle ground and the final product and the final result?
Yeah, there's always obviously a working relationship that has to be established in any scenario, but Michelle came originally. The drawings we would have got from series 1 and series 2 would have been very detailed drawings of exactly what the pieces were to look like. So really we were bringing our manufacturing skills only and less the design skills to the table. If there was something that we felt that technically wouldn't work in the drawings or we had to change, we would have said so, and there would have been negotiation as to how it would change. Series 3, once she got confident in us and we were confident working with her as a relationship, in series 3 when we did Margaery and Joffrey's wedding crowns, or it was the start of series 4, but it was during series 2 that was running. that we were negotiating with Myrcella. There was a lot of back and forth, and we had a little bit more design input into them. But she's still coming to us with very much her design and what she has in her head as to what it's to look like, because she's trying to coordinate everything, the costume, the scene around. So we can't be tweaking things to how we think they should look, because it could change dramatically how the whole set is going to look for her. So we are manufacturing far more than we're designing these pieces. So no, it is Michelle's designs and HBO's designs in reality. Yeah.
I know that one of the pieces you made was quite a challenge, and I'm talking about Sansa's necklace, the one with the poison beads.
Yes.
So I know that that was kind of, like a difficult piece to make for you. Can you, tell us the story of that?
Well, what was difficult was less with the manufacturing of the piece. It was that Michelle wanted a very specific shape of crystal on the necklace. There was originally 8 crystals, though in the end we took a link and a crystal away and brought it down to 7 links in total. But she wanted a very sort of particular pointed at both ends crystal, which a natural gemstone doesn't come that shape. And we looked at sourcing and getting stones specifically cut for it. But the length of time that was going to take was going to be a problem for production, for their film schedule. So in the end, I CAD'd the gem on CAD, and we sent it to a company in Belfast who then 3D printed it in clear resin. We sprayed them blue so they looked like a gemstone. So they weren't actually gemstone at all. They were just a resin model, and then we attached them to the necklace. The necklace itself was simple enough for us to create. It was just a simple link that was cast and constructed up and then plated.
What was the most challenging piece to make for you guys?
Probably the piece that featured on what was Monday night show for us would have been the crown, the recent crown for Cersei. This one here.
Oh, there it is. Amazing. So that's the crown we see in season 6 finale.
Yeah, we made 2 just so that we could do a working model to begin with, just to make sure it came together okay. So they have one now, and we have the working model that was. So this is not physically the one she put on, but it is a replica of it. So yes, that was all done by CAD, all computer generated on file. And then we originally were going to 3D print it, but our building platform was a little bit too small to take on pieces, so we used a 3D miller in the end, which milled it in wax for us, which we then divided into 8 pieces and cast separately into, so it's sterling silver. But that's cast in and then hand constructed after that. So my husband did all the hand constructing and then gold plated all the little edges of it as well. So, yeah.
Your husband Dan also made another very interesting crown back in season 1, probably. The Joffrey crown, is that correct?
No, technically my father made the very original Joffrey crown. Joffrey's had 2 crowns, so... The original one, which his younger brother was wearing in this season past, that one was made by my father with the amber gemstones into it. So that was cut from sheet brass and then put onto a brass rim. This one that Joffrey wore at his wedding was his second crown, which Dan, my husband, crafted. So that again was all done out of sheet brass. It was made in 4 different parts and hand pierced all the antler shapes out of the brass and filed down and shaped up and then soldered all together, and then these silver vines put through it, which was the idea of the Tyrell and the Baratheon coming together. So the silver rose vines were twisted in a moment.
I read that the actual rosebuds from Joffrey's crown were cast from molds from rosebuds from your garden. Is that right?
That's right. At the time that they wanted it was a good time in terms of actual gardening, because we just went out into the garden, we picked some fresh rosebuds, we took a silicone mould of them and then cast them into silver. The roses that are in Margaery's tiara, she was wearing on her wedding day, and in the series, on the last episode there, series 10, she was also wearing it when she was murdered. But the roses from that were all hand pressed from copper clay, so you just roll out each petal and hand press it out in a copper clay and construct up the rose, and then you put it in a kiln and fire it, and it fuses it into copper metal. So I did all the hand construction on that, and then Dan made the main frame again of the tiara and put it all together. So yeah, a lot of big collaborative work using each of our skills to put together the pieces.
Speaking about Tyrell jewelry, you know, there is one piece that is close to my heart, and that is Margaery's first wedding necklace, the one that is made by the best jeweler in King's Landing. What can you tell us about that piece? Yeah, that's the piece.
That one there. So again, Michelle came with a very clear idea of what she wanted this to look like. So it was just going with the detailed drawings that she had given us, but it is made from, again, we made it in sterling silver because that's the easiest for us to cast, and then it's been rose gold plated because she wanted it to look like it's rose gold. It's got natural gemstones in it, so it's got moonstones, and it's got blue topazes in it, and then we did put CZs instead of diamonds just to keep the cost down a little bit. But generally that was all done by CAD again, by myself, and then cast and hand constructed, and actually one of our other goldsmiths, Rosie, did the hand construction on that. So yeah.
That's perfect. I really love that piece. You know, we talked about it, and I think it's really beautiful. It's in its simplicity. It's very elegant. It's absolutely an amazing piece. Speaking about necklaces, there are a few throughout the seasons that actually have a role in explaining the growth of the characters. Sansa wore a dragonfly necklace in the first seasons, and then moved on to different kind of jewelry and attire, which actually expressed how she evolved as a character. How much of that is your work? How much of that is actually your stuff?
The dragonfly is not our work. I'm trying to think. There's the smaller lion necklace. She is given a small version of this one by Joffrey in series 1, which then is then passed on to Myrcella. She wears it further down the line. So she was wearing that one for a little while. The necklace that poisoned Myrcella, which little capsule that pops out, and the Sand sisters drank the poison from that, and they on their lips killed Myrcella with that. So we've made sort of key pieces like that. And obviously the necklace that you mentioned earlier that Sansa wore to that then the bit was used to kill Joffrey with. The other pieces that were quite iconic from the first series would have been Daenerys' big dragon brooches that she wore. We made those as well, and the Kathleen Stark's sister, who was the lady of the area, I can't remember her actual name. She had
Lysa Arryn, it was.
Yeah, she had very big fish pieces that kept her cloak together that we made as well, and her son wore a similar piece, a slightly scaled down version of. So there have been pieces like that through through the series that we've made, the ones that probably stood out as being telling the story the most would be the Sansa necklace, which poisoned Joffrey, and probably Margaery's bridal necklace, and the second one that poisoned Margaery. So yeah.
Hardcore fans would die to get their hands on one of these replica pieces from the original jeweler who made them. What can you tell fans who would like to have a replica?
Obviously, replicas that they belong to HBO. The copyright of a replica belongs to HBO, so we can't manufacture and sell. We've got some on display here, so anybody who wants to come and visit are more than welcome to look at them, handle them, and enjoy seeing them. But we can't, they're HBO's designs, we can't sell them as such. But we did, because we were having so many fans visit and wanting something to take home, we did discuss with HBO, and we got a product license to be able to do. So we have a dragon necklace, this one here, you can see.
Okay.
And cufflinks, we've got dire wolf pieces as well. We've made, so we've the main 5 houses, and we have pendants and brooches and cufflinks in each of those houses, pieces that people can have as a memorable piece to take away from our workshop. So, and when they come here, our workshop is on show to visitors, so they can see where the pieces were made and things, so they enjoy that as well.
The pieces that are on sale on the HBO store, the official one, are they made by you?
No.
Okay. I was actually discussing, before doing this interview, I was actually discussing with a few friends who are also huge fans of the show about this, the production and how it works and everything. And one question that popped out was the fact that isn't it kind of unfair that there are so many artisans on Etsy or eBay or on other online shops who can, recreate kind of almost exact replicas of pieces from the show, and you, who are the one who made them, can't actually retail them?
Well, yes, it's not so much that it's unfair. They shouldn't be doing it. HBO can't go after every single one of them, but if they saw that one of them was getting maybe too much out of it, they maybe would. But we enjoy the working relationship we have with the production team in terms of producing the pieces for the show, and the technical challenge it gives us to actually make them, and the challenge and the joy of seeing them on screen is what we get out of it. We're not, we're artists first and foremost. We're not in this business just to have a cash cow. So it doesn't, it doesn't bother us that much that we can't, throw this out and market it everywhere. There's no way our small workshop could cope with hundreds of orders coming through. We only have 6 goldsmiths at the bench, so and what we do for Game of Thrones and the collection that we do for selling to Game of Thrones fans is a very small percentage of what we do. Our main business as goldsmiths is engagement rings, wedding rings, and we do lots of other collections as well. So we have to balance how Game of Thrones works within our business. And yes, I can see that there's other small businesses out there that are on Etsy and things that are selling pieces, but if they can and they can get away with it, then that's fine. We enjoy the working relationship with HBO, and the fact that they come back to us and we get to make these pieces for the series, because that's what we get out of it, and we're happy with that.
Got it. Do you have any other pieces you can show us?
I have a list of many more, and I've kind of shown you most pieces through it. There's another wee brooch from one of the collection pieces, so that's the rose.
It's something that fans coming to your shop can actually take home.
They
Okay.
physically buy that one. That one's 145. Again, the old dragon cufflink. So the three heads of the dragon. So we've variety of pieces like that there. I should have brought the Sansa necklace into the interview as well. But no, that's what I've brought to the table so far.
All right, Brona, I am thrilled to have had the chance to chat with you this morning. I thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll see more from your workshop in the next season. You can't tell us anything about that, I think.
No.
I figured. All right then. Thank you very much, Brona, for your time, and hopefully, yeah, we'll see your amazing work again in Game of Thrones season 7.
Very much. Okay. All the best.